What up, peeps? Nick Battle, aka NinosCorner, man. You're here at the official post game, live show here. Texas versus Clemson. First round of the playoffs. First time Texas played Clemson ever, and they play them in the playoffs here. Texas wins the game 38-24. What a great game, man. Let's wait for those comments to come in. But hell of a game here by Texas, man. They thoroughly dominated this game. Just be honest with you. Sark was in his bag for the play calling. There's a couple play calls that I think Texas fans would say, look, that little screen play that you got, please don't do that play again. Where it's like the play action, screen that goes to Wisner. They end up getting Wisner hurt, end up getting Cam hurt too as well. But Texas, look, man, Texas. They kind of won this game, easily, man, 38-24 against Clemson, man. We start to look at just what this team did. Quinn had a pretty clean game day, man. About 200 yards of pass and a touchdown and a pick. The pick was not on him. The pick was on Moore. Moore actually had a chance to catch the ball. It like hits him in the hands. It bobbles up, and then Clemson gets the interception, which should have been the pick six, but had a blindside block on that play, which I thought shouldn't have been a call, but was what it was, man. But man, shout out to the running backs today. The running backs had one hell of a game today. 14 carries, about 146 yards. For Jaden Blue, man, 14.6 yards to carry. 2 touchdowns as well. And then the other guy, man, Trey Wisner, 15 for 110 and a couple touchdowns himself, man. Texas ran the ball for about 292 yards, and that is including sack yardage, from Arch Manning and also Quinn Ewers as well. Jared Gibson had a pretty good game too today, about 9 carries for 39 yards. This team played extremely well, man, averaging over 6 yards to carry in the ground, as including sack yards, to 48 carries for 292 yards. Oh man, the receivers, man. A couple drops today too as well. Look, I'm not going to just lie about the drops here. Moore had a drop which led to an interception. Golden had a drop too, but Quinn did have a couple passes that were not the best of passes that that were kind of behind some guys too as well. Picture on that 4th and 3, I think, or the 4th and 2. Golden was streaking right across, just right in front of him. If he puts the ball in front of him, Golden's probably running for 15, 20 yards. Quinn, hits him behind and he doesn't catch the ball. But it is what it is. Texas didn't get, hurt from that play per se. But the Texas defense played very well here in the first half, only allowing about 10 points there in the first half. Second half, they allow 14 points, a touchdown per quarter. And the Texas secondary got worked today. They got worked today, folks. I was not expecting that. Texas secondary kind of got cooked today, man. TJ Moore had about 115, 116 yards receiving and a touchdown. And, Cade came in, man, and, he threw for 3 touchdowns as well, man. 26 for 43, 336, 3 touchdowns and an interception. Texas was able to make this game very one-dimensional because they stopped the run, right? And so that was awesome here for Texas, being able to stop the run. 24 carries for 76 yards here for Clemson, man. At about 3.2 yards a clip and no touchdown. So they were able to stop the run. A pivotal stop there in that 4th down there in the 4th quarter, where Clemson ran, I think on 3rd down, tried to do a power run here by Klubnik. They stopped him at the 1-yard line, and then they went into like a diamond formation. They had the tight end lined up in the backfield with 2 the tailbacks as well. They handed the ball off, and Texas stopped and got a lot of push there from Norton. And Texas stopped him, and Texas was able to basically take about 6 minutes off the clock, get the ball down to around the 30-yard line or so of Clemson, and they were able to pretty much close the game on after that. But a great win here, by Texas going into the second round of the playoffs here. They're going to play Arizona State, folks. I think Texas got a good, favorable draw here in the playoffs. They beat Clemson. I didn't think this game was going to be that close, but Texas gave up a lot of yards, man. They gave up a lot of yards, man. They gave up they gave up 402 yards today, which was very uncharacteristic when it comes to a Texas defense, man. So yeah, it is what it is, man. 412 yards actually. But the Texas defense, they came out and played well on, just on the lines as well. Linebackers played well, also, but the secondary the secondary, they got kind of worked here today, man. But shout out to this team as a whole, man. The offensive line. I put this here on Twitter. Right prior to Sark getting here, if I'd have told you that, our first round right tackle was going to get hurt here in the first half and not be able to play, we would be up in shambles because the offensive line didn't have the depth. And then if I'd have told you that on the next play, we're going to be losing our starting center, who has been like the catalyst here for this offensive line here for the last 5 years, in Jake Majors, and he was going to be gone for the second half as well. This Texas fan base and team would have been in shambles. But the way that Sark has recruited on the offensive lines here has been truly outstanding and amazing, because we lose Cam Williams there in the second half. And what do? We slide in the guy by the name of Trevor Gooseby. Gooseby is the guy who came in and he started in the SEC championship game, for Banks. He came in once Banks got hurt against Texas A&M. So Kelvin Banks Jr., who is slotted to be a top 10 pick here in the draft, and he's won the he's won the best lineman award here. He's won a couple of awards here. Just as being one of the top offensive linemen, if not the top in the country. He's a consensus first team guy when it comes to being on any All-American list. So Kelvin Banks Jr. is that guy. We lose him against A&M very early, and Gooseby, Trevor Gooseby comes in and he does this thing. Well, today we lose, Cam Williams there in the first half, and he doesn't come back at all. He tried to make one small comeback, and it didn't actually work out for him. But Trevor Gooseby doesn't play left tackle. He switches over and plays right tackle and shows his versatility, right? And so I'm thinking they're going to bring in Brandon Baker, who's a true freshman out of California, but they bring in Trevor Gooseby, so he has the knowledge, folks, and just the football acumen to play not only left tackle but also right tackle. And anybody that has played the game knows that those are two separate, totally different positions with footwork and placement, and hand placement, just the way that you kick back as well. He was able to go in there and work flawlessly from the right tackle position too as well. And then once we lose our center, Jake Majors, we move Hayden Conner, who's our starting left guard, to center. And you're like, well, who's going to take over for left guard? And we bring in Cole Hudson, who started 13 games as a true freshman 2 years ago. Just prior to him, being a guy who's in a rotation now with a guy like DJ Campbell. Those guys kind of rotate at the right guard position. But when you have somebody who has played 13 games, well, actually started 13 games as a true freshman, doesn't start his sophomore year, doesn't start his junior year, but he is your swing guy that comes in and he's like your Swiss Army knife for the line, you're able to plug and play him at left guard. And now you have an offensive line that has Kelvin Banks, who's been starting here for 3 years straight as a true freshman up to a junior. You have Cole Hudson at the left guard position, right, who started 13 games as a true freshman and has been in the rotation in sophomore and also his junior year this year too as well. And then you have Hayden Conner, who has been a guy who has been in the team here for 4, maybe 5 years as well too. A ton of experience, been starting since his freshman and sophomore year too as well. And then you got DJ Campbell, 5-star guy at the right guard position. And then Trevor Gooseby is the guy who you've been developing here for the last couple of years. He slides in the right tackle, and that shows the Texas depth. And we still got guys like, Neto and Agbo and Kojo and Connor Stroh and Brandon Baker and Jaden Chapman. You got all these guys that are waiting to come in and play. Right. And so you got the depth there, and these guys understand that when you wait your turn, you got a guy like Cam Williams who comes in and he starts this 1 year, and he's probably going to the NFL off of 1 year of playing. Now, a lot of that's just God-given ability and God-given traits and, his genes, but also the development process where he sat for 2 years, learned the process, and come in and he's done what he's supposed to do. And he's going to be a first-round draft pick here coming out of Texas. But Texas is able to secure that offensive line and close out the game and run extremely well, even without having 2 of their starters in the lineup here in the second half. Man, shout out to Steve Sarkisian and offensive coordinator and offensive line coach Cal Flood, just for the outstanding work that they have done with that line. But getting back to Texas here, Quinn Ewers had a hell of a game. I think he opened up with his first 11, 12 passes were completions. They were dimes. I didn't see a lot of bad passes from Quinn. He had one bad pass, I think, to Golden that was behind his back, and he had one where I think he had a like a misstep there. I think it was a miscue between him and Wingo, where Quinn threw the ball, and I think Terrell had a opportunity to actually, pick the ball off, but he didn't. But I think that was just like some miscomms going on there between him and Wingo. But other than that, man, Quinn played an extremely clean game. The Texas running game was truly outstanding. 292 yards for rushing. Yeah, I loved everything I saw about this game. I mean, Texas played outstanding between the three running backs. Just some quick public math here, man. 11, 6, 5, 3, 8, 9. So between those guys, 291 yards of rushing between Jaden Blue, Wisner, and Gibson. 298 yards for rushing if you include the Ryan Wingo rush. If you take out the sack yardage here from Arch Manning and Quinn Ewers, and the two kneel downs, you got 298 yards on 200 off 39 carries. So 39 carries and 298 yards off of the true rushing yards, not the sacks and the kneels that the team actually secured here to close the game out. But looking at the wide receiver position, folks, Matthew Golden had a pretty good game too, man. 2 catches for 49 yards. Ryan Wingo stepped up. This team does miss Bond. You can tell Bond is kind of that glue guy. He's the guy that Texas really depends on. He is wide receiver 1 in his team. Moore had a couple, he's had some drops here, just today and also in the past week too as well. He's got to get better at that. Silas Bolden, I think, is one of those guys who probably needs to come to the games a tad bit more. He's a little bit more settled in. And Wisner's a baller. Everybody loves Wisner, man. But it is going to be interesting to see what happens here in the second round because Wisner did get hurt. He came in and played some, but you can tell he was riding the bike quite a bit. And I think Texas needs Trey Wisner. We need Trey Wisner along with Jaden Blue and a Jared Gibson to be healthy for this next round of playoffs. Trey Wisner is running back 1 for this team. Jaden Blue able to come in and run like crazy today. I think it bodes well to have both those guys come in because Jaden Blue kind of feeds off of having a guy like a Wisner or a guy like a Baxter come in and eat the defense up and get 5 here and get 5 there and get 5 here, get 6. And then Jaden Blue can come in and clean up. And he can come in and average 10 yards a carry, which is what he did today. He can come in and get a 77-yard touchdown run and then like a 35 or 36-yard touchdown run off of it too as well. So you got an opportunity where Jaden Blue is the guy who is the home run hitter. No kidding, speed just across the board for him. And he needs to be able to be like that swing guy who can come in and make great plays when great plays are needed. But outstanding game here by Texas, man. You got to love what you've seen here from Texas and what Steve Sarkisian has built here. If I'd have told you 5 years ago that Texas will be playing in the semifinals here, going to round 2 against Arizona State, playing the Big 12 champion, just seeing the years that we've had and just some of the play that we've had at certain positions, especially on the offensive line and the defensive line, well, he probably would have laughed at me. But Steve Sarkisian is, coming to this job, kind of new to the assignment, building an SEC-ready team and very quick. He knew exactly what to do with this team, and he's done a great job with it, man. I'm just truly amazed at just how he has built this offensive line up to where we can take 2 injuries here in the first half from starters on this line and still be able to make a great effort, not just an effort, but have guys play to championship, like capabilities for Texas to actually progress and go to the second round here to playoffs. Texas, you can tell what they're doing to Arch Manning. They're putting Arch Manning on film because every week they're going to show Arch Manning doing this thing, whether it's running the ball, whether it's power running from the quarterback, or just handoffs. I think what they're trying to do is just continue to show him coming in the game where it poses matchup problems for the defense, and then they can take advantage of that and ended up passing out of that formation. All right. And I think you saw Sark try to do that. I think the second time the Arch came in, Arch was a little hesitant to run, but he did run and he got the first down. I think on the second drive that he came in. If he runs just a little bit quicker, he's probably still running right now. But overall, great game by Texas. Great game. Sark was in his bag. You can tell Sark was not afraid of what Clemson was going to do from the defense side of the ball. I think Sark knew every time he touched the ball, anytime his team touched the ball, that they were going to score. And so, or they were going to have the opportunity to score. You can tell that he was not afraid and not shy of the challenge that was going to come from this Clemson defense. I think he saw that they were going to be fooled. They're going to be fooled tonight. And Sark had an outstanding game plan here for this team. Clemson, on the other hand, great game by Clemson too. Clemson fought back. Man, Cade Klubnik is a baller. He has ice in his veins. He's a kid that went to school at Austin Westlake, 3-time state champion. He played on the team with Michael Taft. Also Ethan Burks, he played in that team too. Colton Vosic's on the team. So we got a lot of Austin Westlake guys that are on the team, that Cade played with. But Cade came out and played. He played extremely well. He's a guy that he's kind of showing his worth, man. He's a guy that can use his legs to scramble. He has a good arm too as well. Throws very well under pressure. Shout out to Cade Klubnik. I think Texas wanted to recruit him late in the game, but both his parents went to Texas A&M. Guy loved Clemson, and so he ends up going to Clemson. But Cade was a 5-star quarterback too as well, coming right out of Austin, Texas. And even he had parents that are Aggies. It's hard to get them to come over to Texas. Not everybody's like Connor Stroh, whose parents are the Aggies too as well. But they wear their burnt orange on Saturdays and sometimes Sundays if Texas is able to play on Sundays here pretty soon, like for a national championship. But great game by Texas, man. I love the way that the defense stopped the run here today. Only just allowing 76 yards of rushing. I also love the defense got a couple sacks today. Let me see how many sacks this defense had today, man. The Texas defense had 3 sacks today. One from Ethan Burke. That was a great sack. I think it's like a 15-yard loss in that sack. One from Barron Sherrill. That was another good sack. And one from Norton. And then Colin Simmons got the interception today. And Leona LaFau, what a play. He almost had a pick where, Clemson tried to do like a little trickery there. I think LaFau sniffed it out outstandingly, man. And he almost got a pick 6 in that play. He was able to, just to kind of get in there deep in that play and do his thing, man. But one guy who I wouldn't say got exposed tonight, but they were picking on him, man, was Manny Muhammad. But hey, cornerbacks got to have short memories, man. They got to have short memories. I'm pretty sure Manny's going to have a short memory. He's going to, look at the tape and look at the film in his game and kind of see what he put out there in tape. But a guy like Manny Muhammad, we know that he's going to come back strong and he's going to play lights out against Arizona State, and they're going to, do great things against this team and hopefully progress to play the winner of Oregon, Ohio State, and Tennessee. So other great plays. I think who was it? Gilbert had a couple good plays today too, man. Overall, the defense was not the best, from what we have seen throughout the season, but they were plenty good to get Texas this dub. Shout out to the Texas offense because the Texas offense kind of carried the team today, and it's usually the other way around. It's usually the Texas defense is carrying this team throughout the season, but today, man, that Texas offense, they were the ones that made the plays today. They were the ones that carried this team today. It's kind of beautiful to see complimentary football at its finest. When your defense is down, your offense picks you up. And then the other way around, when the offense is down, your defense picks you up. And we've seen it happen plenty of times this year. We've seen the defense win a game against guys like, Arkansas. We saw the defense win the game. Was it? Nah, it wasn't Kentucky. Kentucky was the offense won the game on that. But this defense just showed out, and it's done great things this year. Defense kind of won the game for us against Vanderbilt, 27-24. We won that game. We won it against Arkansas and also Texas A&M, the 17-7 game. The offense came in really, really good today, man. Really good today. scoring 38 points in that Clemson team. And also the offense came out and shined a lot this year, man. So Steve Sarkisian has a lot of teachable moments in this game, some things that we could have done better. But also you take the win. If you win by a point or 50 points, you just kind of take the win and roll with it. And guess what? You got next week. A lot of teams wish they had next week, and Texas has next week and possibly further. But great game by the Texas Longhorns, man. You got to love what you see. You got to love what you see, man. Quinn Ewers balled out today, too, man. That 17 for 24. That one pick was not on him, folks. That was on DeAndre Moore with the drop. But a very clean game here by Texas from the offensive side of the ball. And they need to step that up and do this week in and week out. All gas, no breaks, like the hat says, man. So shout out to Last 10 Hats. But great game here by Texas, man. Running games was outstanding. 298 yards from the three running backs as a whole, man, between Jared Gibson, Trey Wisner, and also Jaden Blue. But folks, man, great game also by Gunnar Helm too as well. He solidified himself as why he's one of the top tight ends here in the country. He's one of those guys that's a potential, I would say, a third-round pick. And that's guaranteed money there in those first 3 rounds. And he's a guy that can not only block, he can also catch the ball too as well. And he's just so versatile. Texas fans thought we were going to see a little bit of dip in the tight end, room once we lost JT Sanders last year, going to the league and going up to the Carolina Panthers. But this tight end room has been outstanding. It's been great. We've had Gunnar Helm, we had Juan Davis come and do their thing. And also we got a guy like Knoblech who hasn't played a lot this year, but I tell you what, when he gets his opportunity to shine and learns that playbook a little bit more, if he decides to come back here to Texas next year, he's going to be a guy that is going to shine. And you couple that with a guy like Washington, and you got your Emory Winstons coming in and your Townsends. Oh man, that room is going to be deep, man. But in saying that, folks, we've been talking here for about 25 minutes or so, man. Appreciate you guys joining in, man. Always come to the channel. You'll see me next week too on the post-game show when Texas hopefully beats Arizona State, man. You will definitely see me in the post-game show there if Bleacher Report allows me to come on again, man. It's been a fun ride so far this season, and thank you guys for tuning in. You guys are outstanding. On that note, man, put them horns always up, man. And guess what, folks? Hook them. Yes, sir.